Hi, it's so good to be back together again with you.
Hey, Shar, happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday. And every single week, guys, we put a webinar on specifically to our coaching industry because we want to make sure that we're talking about coaching topics that really help you grow your business. And Ty, you've done this decade after decade, and we're really honing in on what really tactical strategies can help our coaches solve problems in their coaching business.
Absolutely. And, we both come from a coaching background. We both coach clients today. I've coached over 130, 140 clients and businesses. So we come armed with knowledge, armed with experience, armed with failures. And we're here to provide that and give people not a shortcut, but at the very least, things that they can avoid consciously and they don't have to go through themselves. And today's topic is an exact example, right? Because people are so stuck in their own life, their own way, their own daily routine that they don't have time to look up and realize, this is why something's not working, or this is what I should be doing differently. They're just running that rat race. And so us coming in and being that sort of the voice of, experience, that voice of like reason, that voice of understanding can help you navigate your coaching business, your coaching career, your startup business, your startup career a lot faster.
Well, I appreciate that, Ty. Yes, that's what we do every single week, guys. And of course, this is something common. A lot of you will start in this journey of being a business owner and think, I've got to go back to school. I've got to pay $100,000 of certification programs. Some of you are struggling with the fact that you don't really have a proof of concept yet. And so you're going through what you've been told to do is go get another certification, go prove that you're a coach, versus you already are a coach because you care about them, you had experience. So today we're going to help you decide how to actually move past the certification barrier and actually get to a platform that you can actually scale and grow your coaching business.
Yes, we are. That's what we're here for today.
So Ty, you've seen this many times where a lot of coaches will say, I've got to get this certification first. I've got to get this degree. I've got to get, these accolades before I can ever coach someone. And I think it's imposter syndrome.
It's actually a couple of things, Shar. Imposter syndrome is one, but my coaching is rooted in something called the Gallup Strengths Finder, right? And so the theory of Gallup Strengths Finder is when you take this assessment, you understand the different themes that determine your makeup, what your strengths are. And one of those themes is a concept called learner. And learner is that person who likes to constantly get certifications, study things, acquire knowledge, just continue to learn. It's funny, the picture on this wall looks like my picture, but I guarantee you,
I know.
learner is actually in the bottom of my profile. So I don't do certifications. However, for me,
this was a tribute to him, guys. I picked this and he said, hey, I want this because this looks like Ty.
But the concept of learner, if people are just constantly seeking that knowledge, they constantly learn. And a lot of coaches in the career, in my career that I have coached, have come with learner in their top strengths profile, which told me all the time that they get stuck in learning. So I do agree with you. I think there's some people who are living on the imposter syndrome train, and they believe if I don't have a certification, they won't think I'm credible. And so I need a certification and another one, and another one. But then there are those who are on the learner train and they're like, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. I want to learn more. And, they have the intent to share that knowledge sometimes, but more oftentimes than not, they get caught in the cycle of learning and building up all of these accreditations and certifications, and then never really getting to use them or not paying attention to using them effectively.
And that is so true, Ty. I've seen it time and time again where they're their own worst enemy. They'll never launch and get the proof of concept because they're still stuck on first base, which is, do I have what it takes? Do I know enough? I'm like, you know how you're going to know enough, guys, is we're going to crash and burn. That's how you get to know enough very quickly.
Yeah. The school of failure, the school of hard knocks. When I was in tech, building a startup, a social network, we learned the concept of failing fast and failing forward. What is failing fast? Get to the mistake, get to the problem, understand the breakdown, and then fail forward is learn from it, figure out how to do better next time. Don't repeat the same mistake. Integrate your learnings into what you're doing next, your failings into what you're doing next, and make sure you get a better mousetrap over and over and over again.
Well, and that's where we go, guys, right into this, scalable infrastructure doesn't get built because you're still worried about all the stuff that doesn't really matter. All of it does matter though, Ty, But the problem is, this is their limiting, what I consider the biggest barrier, is because they have so much friction because they're trying to be perfect right out of the gate.
Yeah, there's that concept of polish, and this is something we were conditioned at, right? The older generation, not so much the millennials or the Gen Zs. The millennials and the Gen Zs have like they're a little bit more like, let's go to market and just let's get like let's just be an influencer, let's get things out there. Whereas the older generation tend to think, okay, it needs to be polished because we were conditioned and ingrained like that throughout our formative years. Everything needs to be perfect before you go to market, and now that's not the case. Now the market helps you build the perfect product because they give you the feedback, they give you the learnings, they give you the things that you know to refine the product and make it a better, glossier, shinier, better user experience. And so it is about just getting a viable product, not just anything. You still need a viable product with a delivery on your promise and clear communication, positioning and messaging, and a way to reach the market effectively. So you still need an MVP. You still need that minimum viable product that meets at least some of the demands. But then over time, once you're in the market, it gets better. It gets refined, it gets polished, and you're not waiting for it to be there before you get started.
Well, and guys, here's the basics, right? Your proof of concept is that stage where you're trying to understand who you are as a person. Some of you are going to stay working a full-time gig before you ever venture out to be a full-time entrepreneur. Some of you are going to venture out and say, 5 clients is enough because, I've only got, maybe 5 hours a week that I can spend on it. So this lack of scalable infrastructure starts off because you're trying to manage your life, your job, plus you're trying to do this, what I consider side hustle, until it really becomes more, right, of your main focus. But Ty, this is where I think we get hung up on, though, because, they're really not using technology to the best of its ability. They're not using the reality of what their limitations are as a coach as well. And I feel like that's where they kind of burn out before they even start.
Yeah, that pressure, that responsibility, and it's all self-inflicted. Your market doesn't know, your client doesn't know anything that you're doing in the background, in the back of the work stream, like what you're building and what you're putting pressure on. They have no idea. If you come out and you say, this one string is the only thing I have to offer, then you're either going to have a market or not have a market, and they're going to take that one string, and then they know that's the promise that you're giving them. But if you're waiting to have 11 strings to offer them, they don't know that. They didn't expect 11 strings. They were never told 11 strings are coming. They're just assuming that whatever you give them is the thing that you're offering and you were working on. So yes, we put a lot of pressure. We put a lot of self-limiting beliefs. We put a lot of stories. We burden ourselves before we get to market, when really and truly, if you go back to the core of why we decided to be a coach, why we decided to open a business, it's for that one gap that we wanted to close, or that one promise we wanted to make, or that one thing we do really well that we wanted to share with the world, and not all of the fanfare that's associated with it. So it's really just about going back to your basics, getting to market, and then sharing with the world what you need, and not having to go certify yourself, or get a degree, or get another level of this and that and stuff. None of that's necessary.
Well, and Ty, that's where, having a platform is really what I consider the scalable strategy in your coaching business, because that's where you'll be front facing with prospects. That's where you'll be front facing with your clients. And then that's where you can always come back to, because I call it your foundation. This is your baseline of your coaching business. And so platform is the strategy to really move your business from a side hustle to what I consider authority expert positioning.
One of the biggest things that I learned in the last couple of years of my corporate career was that people tend to believe that they're isolated, right? They take on this journey because they want to do something themselves. They want to make an offer. They want to share something with the world. And they do it, and they intentionally step into their leadership role. But then it feels lonely. It feels isolationist. This is also, Shar, by the way, a reason some people go to certifications, because they feel like when they're going through a class or a certification, they have a community of people that they're learning with. And so that's their artificial sort of joining a community to be part of something. And they don't always intuitively know that they're trying to look a community, a platform, a base by which they can share and exchange with others. And so inherently, by going after that certification, you are looking for a platform. You know to yourself, it's a platform you need. The content and the knowledge is great, but with the advent of AI and stuff like that, that content and that knowledge is way more accessible now than it was 5, 10, 15 years ago. So all that to say, a platform gives you that support structure, that peer of, that pool of your peers, that opportunity to learn and advance and improve your product, and get it to market faster and keep your clients on board a lot more. And it's making sure that whatever platform you do choose as a coach, as a business person, it's making sure that you maximize the opportunity that platform offers you.
Well, and guys, that's why, Ty, your vision of CoachCon was born several years ago as you learned this, not only from coaching your own clients, but your coaching business, that they all needed a platform, a community where they could come and, what I consider, guys, get feedback, reset, and be realigned with why you are a coach.
Yeah, we wanted not just a platform, but we wanted a platform that was focused on the earlier stages of coaches. We wanted to give people a fighting chance. So many coaches in my last 3 coaching clients were all very brand new startup coaches, and their propensity to fail was a lot greater, right? Because they were stuck in that, what we just talked about, polishing it, making it perfect, getting it to market, being unsure if they are doing the right thing, not having a community of peers that they can bounce things off of, and a platform by they can gain knowledge and exchange resources. Not having that made them more susceptible to failing. But being together as a group and learning from each other and participating with each other, and then benefiting from the exchange of content and information and resources, has allowed them to thrive and go to 15 and 20 clients in the matter of 60 and 90 days.
Wow. And guys, this is just data that says, you're going to 2x faster scale your business because you have a foundation, you have a platform to come to. You're going to have a higher retention because you're going to be able to manage the expectations of your clients, manage the deliverable of what you're doing in coaching, and you're going to be able to save time and run more efficiently. Hi, CoachCon is the foundation that all businesses should build their coaching business from.
100%. CoachCon was established to give earlier stage business owners a community of other business owners, both early and advanced, that would help them figure out what are the failures, what are the pitfalls, what else do they need, why a certification, adding another 3rd, 4th, and 5th certification is necessary right now, helping you with your client retention, figuring out your strategies. CoachCon is that community. We meet with expert people, expert speakers. We meet with expert speakers over 2 days, where you take their content and you translate it into how it works for your business and how it works for your client's business. You are literally simultaneously working with big brand speakers as a speaker yourself, as a coach yourself, and synthesizing and transforming your clients in real time. CoachCon is the only place in the world that exists where an early stage coach can coach in real time, mentored and inspired by a branded speaker, and get real transformation in 24 hours from their clients. It can't happen anywhere else. We built this community like this for you to benefit from, and then live with that. Take that transformation with you and use it in your business. Use it to market your business. Use it to show people what you're capable of. All of that video recording, all of that material, all of those testimonials are yours to keep from the 2 days at CoachCon. In 2 days at CoachCon, you have the ability to grow and scale your business tremendously. It is a worthwhile investment of your time and your resources to go from where you are now to much faster to where you want to be.
Wow. And guys, this is why it matters. Okay. Why does CoachCon matter? Why does Ty's vision matter? Why are we here every day? Because your client wants you to meet them where they are. And if they're virtual, where many of your coaches, are, right, Ty, a lot of these business owners are virtual, they want to know that you have that integration, that you're able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, again, even if you're not virtual and you're local, it's your opportunity to be virtual, to spread your message with a wider audience, to give people the convenience of your knowledge and your resources and your experience in the comfort of their own home. And so a platform gives you resources and tools that you don't, A, you probably don't have the time to build yourself. B, you don't want to go into expense building yourself. And C, even if it's built, the utilization, the adoption, the engagement, all of that is stuff that you have to do after you're on the platform, after you have the platform, after you're out there. And that's what CoachCon does. It gives you that space to work with your clients. It gives you that space to engage with other peers. It gives you that space to look and tap and access resources both during and after the event. And it lets you know how you're doing as you progress. So making sure that, again, even if not CoachCon, you're on a platform that's giving you a lot of access to the same thing. That's what's going to make you successful in business, especially in early stage role business coach with yourself.
Well, and guys, this is the thing. We're going to tell you what to do because we don't want you to spend hours and hours of looking online, buying. And I think this has happened, Ty, to you and me, especially early on in our careers, is, you practice and try to use all these different platforms. Then you go, I like this one. We're just going to tell you the fastest way to make this frictionless for your customer is following something that's already been successfully proven. And so, Ty, that's another thing that I feel like when you're scaling your business, guys, and having a platform that really allows you to scale, like technology, being able to have what I consider a brand, working alongside with our famous speakers at CoachCon, they will consider you an expert just because of association. That is so powerful.
Yeah. Proximity is power. You're going to be the coach that brings your clients into a room right after you heard from, somebody like Mama John, a keynote speaker who's coached Justin Bieber and major artists, is going to give you a strategy that you can use in your business. And then you can actually take it and take that strategy and help the people that you did bring, the 5 clients that came with you. This is how you implement it in your business. This is what you should think about in yours, and take something that's substantive as that and translate it immediately into action. Most conferences you go, you make notes, you're there by yourself, you have to figure it out. And then 3 days later, after the conference is done, like, what happened in that first session? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I made these notes. Like, you have to remember it, like you piece it together, and then you have to develop an action plan. That goes out the window. Here, you listen to the speaker, you engage with your coach and your clients, you make an action plan, and then you move on to the next one.
But guys, this is the thing. I know it's too simple, so it sounds too good to be true. I promise it can be this simple.
Yes. Yeah. Well, again, this is CoachCon's MVP. We are coming out with an inaugural one at September 16th and 17th. It's the first time we're doing it. We're not bright and shiny and polished. Our website's okay. It's not super fantabulastic because we practice what we preach. We're in the market. We're showing you. We need your help to come tell us, okay, here's what I loved. Here's what I think you can do better. And we do better. And we go and grow together as a community.
And that's where this is such a fun case study for us to talk about, because a lot of you are going to come to CoachCon and you're probably committed as a full-time employee. You're probably working a full-time gig, which is totally fine. But we also understand that you're doing entrepreneurship by night. You're probably in between kids on weekends. You're probably, missing out on a lot of things because you're working till 2:00 in the morning. We understand that. But we want to really level set with you because we don't want the magic of startup to be lost on you. We just want it to be utilized as a leverage point. And Ty, these 3 questions I've seen time and time again in my clients that I've coached. I know that you've seen this in your clients that you've coached. But how would you coach someone who's going through this, I guess, identity crisis, right? Because they're full-time by day and entrepreneur by night. What does it take to start where they are? What does it take for them to just kind of start?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that you need to get right out the window, right? So number one, what is that? We've talked about this before. Like, what is that genius you want to bring to the world? Is that genius an experience that you've had, a gap you've seen in the market, something that you've personally developed a model or a theory around? What is that genius you have? And then who is the market or the avatar you want to serve? Now, this is important. Not only is it the person who is best served by you, by the gap that you're able to close, but it's the person you want to work with as a coach, as an entrepreneur. You pick people that you want to work with. Even if you can solve a problem, let's say in sanitation, do you want to work with the people who are, in that particular field? That's a question you have to answer yourself. So first of all, what is it that you can close, fix, or solve? Who do you want to serve? And is that somebody who you want to spend 8 hours a day with? That avatar you want to spend 8 hours a day with? And once you have those two things nailed, then the evolution is like, how do I share my message with the world? How do I tell the world what I want to do? Like, what is my promise? What is my product? What is my service? And how do I communicate that effectively? You get those 3 things right. That's what you need to start. Now, people have a problem. Is it a problem worth paying for, right? Is solving that problem an amount, like for an amount of money that they're willing to spend. That's a key distinction in setting up yourself as a business leader, as a business coach. It's making sure that whatever problem you're solving is a problem that people are willing to pay to have solved, and not just a problem that people can live with because it's inconvenient, but it's not debilitating.
And the second need as you're growing your business, guys, is what does it keep to keep the momentum going? Now, we want to do a full disclaimer. Ty and I have done those long days, long weekends, sacrificing trips, sacrificing our own health, sacrificing relationships, because that's what sometimes it takes. Now, you will hear gurus who will say, I only do this 2 hours a day, and I've got a VA, and I've got this, and I've got that, and you're not there. That's why we're trying to help you solve the problems up front, so that when you have systems and processes and are ready to scale, that's all in place so that you can have your time back and you can do that. But Ty, there's something else that happens in this momentum, because it's exhausting. Failure is exhausting. Work is exhausting. How do they navigate through this?
Startup life is exhausting, right? When you're in that early stage phase of business, don't be confused at all, and be wary of anybody who tells you it only takes an hour a day, it only takes two. No successful business, I don't care whether you're an affiliate marketer, if you're a social media influencer, no successful business takes an hour a day in the beginning. None. Every business requires you to put in time, put in effort. But what you have to do is shift that paradigm and realize, the more that I do this up front, the easier things will be over time if I can just do it the right way. And the right way is understand the product, make sure you have product market fit, make sure that you have a viable pricing strategy, make sure your customers are your customers that you want to work with, make sure that you can get to them on a regular basis. All of this requires constant work and iteration, testing, refining, going back to market, testing, refining, and keep that cycle going. But you get that done in the first year or two, and then you build systems and processes to keep it going, right? You've done the heavy lifting, you've done the hard work. You hear about this stuff, the Facebook founders and the Google guys and the Airbnb guys who slept on floors and ate ramen noodles. The typical story of any startup. You have not gotten out of that phase. You have to work long days. You have to be internally motivated. But the paradigm is, you have to be motivated to know that you're in this for the long haul. You're not here to do a get rich quick scheme. If you really want to build a sustainable business or a sustainable coaching practice, you want to make sure that you have all of the work up front, the legwork up front built, and then your systems and processes are being put in place. So then you can start kicking back. Then you can start taking vacation. Then you can start working 3, 4, 5 hours a day instead. But it doesn't happen off the bat. So make sure to keep the momentum going. You know why you're doing this. You understand what the long-term viability of this looks like, what it could look like for you, your family. Ultimately, we get into business for freedom of two things: time and money. Okay. You want freedom of time to be able to manage your time, to work 2 hours a day, to take a vacation for 30 days. And then you want freedom of money. You want the ability to work 3 hours a day and take vacations for a month. And those two things come not in the first year, not in the second year, but usually in year 5, 6, 7. And that's what you have to look forward to. That's how you plan for momentum.
So now that you've done your business, I know that I have a couple of clients who are starting nonprofits, and they're like, well, sure, I didn't come in here for the money. Let's be honest. No one's going to put gas in your car. It's going to be you. No one's going to put food on your table. It's going to be you. So here's how I help you guys kind of move that desire of service into this next phase. Because how do you get help even when you're in a startup stage? Say, I'm going to take 5 non-paying clients for testimonials and give them a measurement of time. Let's just say for 30 days, because a lot of you guys will give everything away for free. And then when they go, oh, I have to pay for it now. And you're going to be like, yeah, I got to start paying. I'm giving you hours and time. That's where a lot of you will end up failing in your business, because you didn't set the expectation. And that's why Ty is saying, if you don't set the expectation, even in the momentum phase, it's going to be really hard in the startup stage to say, oh, I need 5 testimonials, because then they'll just think, well, why don't you just keep doing it for me? It's for free. You're charging now. And they're going to play on you. And of course, you're going to play on yourself because you feel bad. But this is how you have to ask for help. Sometimes you have to ask for help with giving something away so you can get something that's going to help you bigger.
And Char, I know this isn't planned. This is not planned at all. But based on what you just said, as we've said all along, we want to live what we're teaching. And CoachCon
Yes.
is an MVP. It's the first time we're doing this conference. So guess what? We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to invite somebody who registers before July 30th or July 31st
31st.
to participate in CoachCon for free. We will gift you CoachCon.
No.
Whether you're coming as a solo attendee or you're coming with a party of 3 or 4 or 5, if you're watching this webinar, and that's a test to see if you're watching this webinar and you made it all the way to point number 24.53 seconds, if you register for CoachCon, we will pick a random winner and announce at our next workshop who that person is, but it has to be before July 31st, and you will get a gift of a CoachCon attendance package for you and up to 5 people to participate with.
Wow. Guys, totally exciting. I mean, this is VIP treatment. Oh, yep. I mean, this is just how Ty does it, guys. You have to understand. I'm always like, oh my gosh, here's a new thing.
We got to drink our own Kool-Aid. We got to drink our own Kool-Aid. The link is, they didn't put the link in the chat. Just click on the link and register for a spot at CoachCon. It's a $2,800 value. We will give you and up to 4 of your guests a free package to come and experience CoachCon with us on September 16th and 17th.
Oh my gosh, what a great gift, guys. And of course, reach out to us, reach out to Ty and myself. I mean, we want you to know that our interest is to give you what you need in order to be successful. This isn't a gimmick. This is just us having done this so many times in startup that we know what it takes to grow a business.
It's real time. One person will be randomly selected. Not everybody who registers. Just one person will be selected.
Yes. There's a disclaimer. I was like, okay, but Ty, that is just an awesome giveaway. And guys, you have to understand that when you're working with us, especially at CoachCon, our goal is for you to walk away with something tangible so that you can execute. And this is why we do these webinars. This is why we do our lives. This is all about you and your success. And so, Ty, I know that there's a good, better, best, but I really want to talk about what does it take to choose the right platform? What to look for? What are some of those key indicators that make it successful? Because, guys, at the end of the day, if you're going to spend 2 hours to try and find out how to do a scheduling link, you've just wasted 2 hours of your life. Why don't we just tell you the answer?
Yeah, you ultimately want to find a platform that aligns with you, right? You want to make sure that your platform is, knowledgeable about your space. The people that are on there are people that you want to work and connect and collaborate with. You want to make sure the platform has experience with your particular approach, that, you're not joining a platform that, let's say, speaks, technical terms and you're more of a marketing coach. It gets lost, right? There's no translation. But you want to make sure that there's alignment with whatever platform that you're doing and that you're doing it for the, the best sake of your business. Some people join platforms because it's the hype, new, cool thing. Other people join platforms because somebody told them about it, but they weren't sure, but they needed to spend, they thought it would work for them. They didn't do their due diligence. And so they ended up joining something they weren't aligned to. Other people join platforms because they sit on webinars and they're emotionally charged by the person who sold them on the platform, and then they join and then they don't get any value out of it. So you have to do a level of due diligence and make sure that whatever platform you're choosing is a platform that aligns with you. It's better to take time up front and make sure you understand it. That's why Shar and I do these every single week. It's to make sure we're giving you enough content to make sure that you know what you're getting into and that you're fully knowledgeable about it. You need to make sure that you're digesting that content and that information and that you're seeing where the alignment fits. And then you're taking the time to ask questions and get involved and attending things like our challenges or picking up the phone and saying, hey, can we have a conversation? And just really making sure that you're fully attuned and aligned to it, then picking the platform that's best for you.
Well, and guys, that's really the homework from today's live and webinar, is to be able to help you understand how to build your business. Not just, hopefully you get there, throw spaghetti in the wall and something will stick. We want you to pick a technology infrastructure that actually allows you to serve more clients. And some of the suggestions, Calendly is a great solution that allows you to have multiple calendars. Some of you will use tools like HubSpot, Go High Level. Sometimes you guys will use Keep. But we want you to pick something, and we want you to look at that strategically as a way to say, in my business 6 months from now, does it offer the tools and ability to do the things I need to? Because guys, this is the next step. We need you to do the homework so that when you show up at CoachCon, you've got some of this basic foundation stuff built.
Yeah, and the CoachCon, we will also have some opportunities for you to learn about tools that may help you with your business. We want you to walk out of there fully transformed and ready to scale that business to the next level. So if you haven't yet, we encourage you, check it out, coachcon.global. We're looking forward to showing you not just content and speakers, but transforming your life and giving you tools and resources so that at the end of the day, your business, your coaching practice, it scales and grows to where you want it to be.
Wow. Thanks, Ty, for that amazing offer about gifting someone from our July 31st deadline, guys, that will be randomly selected to be part of our CoachCon free with no charge, no cost, because we're investing in you. Thank you again, Ty, for your time. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Shar. Thanks, everyone.